Hello. we're back on it. Yeah, it's working. I literally haven't touched this since we left the stream, apart from looking at some tests because we had some review feedback, which includes, if y'all can read this, zoom it into about here. So David points out that import node in the IDL. So let's, before we, so we're on the right branch. So we've gone back to just the scaffolding PR, and we're looking at. Let's clear down the tabs. We'll keep this one open. So if we look at import node, IDL, no, document IDL. If we look at import node on document, we have this. So the old one is this. This is the old import node. This is the new import node. David says, probably don't use the actual union type. For now, just use overloading. Convert to union types once the flag is removed. And then we can flag the conditional overloads. And if we look at the trusted types HTML for document write, so if we look at document write, we can see this. So we basically want this here. So runtime enabled scoped custom element registry. Is this scoped? It wasn't scoped, it was. That's not helpful. Where is runtime features? So Mason also says it'd probably just be cleaner just to use the single flag. So we're also going to do that. So this is going to be scope custom element registry. And this just uses, this says write HTML. So I think we can just say optional import node options. And obviously we need to get the right bug for this, which is not this one, but this one. And once scoped custom element registries, shipped and flagged. Oops. Yeah. So node, optional import node options. So we've got the old deep false, this is the old signature, and then we've got the new signature, which is only enabled, which is an overload, but it's only enabled with a flag. Whilst we're here, let's go flags JSON. What is that noise? One second. Okay. Why is this? Go away. Cool. So yeah, we want runtime JSON 5. Where is it? What's it called? Runtime enabled features, isn't it? Features JSON. So scope custom element revamped. Scope custom element registry. We're going to drop. We're also going to keep that. And let's also chuck in these PRs. So that's the HTML one. I also want the DOM one, which is this one. Cool. Let's get compiling whilst we think about our next steps. So that was one comment. So that's this one that's done about just flattening the flags. Link to the I2P. We can do this. So the commit message. I2P. Spec PRs. HTML. We just had these in. Oops, wrong one. So the HTML PR, the DOM PR, yeah. Then we've sufficiently linked to enough stuff here, I think. Let's just make sure. Yeah, cool. So that's that. So David says we want an IDL harness test, which is fine. And we'll make some tentative IDL files for it. And so I was looking, I did this a while ago for invokers, but yeah, effectively you can make a new file. Where you in I couldn't find it, but in the WPT repository, maybe there's an IDL harness test that we can look at. Something interesting. Let's look at URL, I guess. That's just as good as any. So if we look at the tests themselves, you see it's pretty basic, but the revamp scope registry, IDL harness, NEJS. We basically just want to do this, which obviously David has already kindly linked to the docs for, which were somewhere in here that I've already lost. Because it's in another window, isn't it? Here it is. Yeah. But the point is that you then also need to construct different harnesses. And so if we go to IDL's definitions, sorry. So we go to IDL something. Where are they? IDL. Tentative interfaces. Of course, they're interfaces. So if we go to interfaces, in here, external WPT interfaces, we can make a scoped custom elements registry dot tentative dot IDL. And then this is obviously going to be scoped custom elements registry. And then we can add objects. We'll figure that out later. This is how you can give the harness some test objects to look at. But that's not necessarily relevant. So the thing is, I want to see if any interfaces, if any of these like storage. Yeah, this is maybe a good example because there's this like this is probably what we want, right? We want custom elements, and now we can just copy the IDLs from this spec. So there was like this document or shadow root. We can just yeet this, and this can go in here. There was also custom elements. Initialize. Custom element. We want to find the custom, there we go, custom element registry interface, because it also has this. I think we can do partial interface, custom element registry. Whoops. And then there were a few others, weren't there? Let's check if we can do partial in here as well. Yeah, cool. Maybe we should look at that doesn't inspire confidence. Fido. Let's look at Fido. Fido. Yeah, I would expect these partial things to be used, but they don't seem to be. Webhead. Am I like holding it wrong? Oh, yeah, I am holding it wrong. Okay, cool. So this looks good. This like we probably want this sort of thing, so just gonna kind of what's the phrase that people use these days? Vibe code this one. Whoops. Yeah, so we got document or shadow root. We've got custom element registry. We also want to have I guess we want to have HTML template element. which is in one of these tabs. I should probably be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Smart about referencing these, but I'm just kind of going at it. Template element. Look. I guess this. I don't know if this is necessary, but we'll do it. So partial interface. Yeah, this looks good. I think this was everything. No, there's obviously also document, which is here. One of these. So there's import node. So partial interface document has import node and we need import node options. Need element creation options, and we need everything that uses element creation options. Element creation options. There we go. Create element NS. Cool. So if we go back to the issue, we can use this to look at this. See what we've missed. So we missed a constructor here. Constructor. We've got import node, create element NS. That's all here. Element has custom elements registry, just like document or shadow root. And shadow root in it. So let's also add. Let's move document down here. We're going to say partial interface shadow root. Let's go find attach shadow. Attach shadow. Attach shadow. You're gonna send me off to a part of DOM. Attach shadow. And then shadow root in it. Okay. Oof. So, if we run this, oh, we've got some compile failures, I think. Have we got compile failures? Because of a pickle? I don't know what that means. Let's recompile and see if it fixes it. Good morning, Pascal. What does this mean? This usually means... Usually I just fetch and rebase and these problems go away. I don't apply intelligence to a lot of things. I apply brute force. That's my Oh, actually this is a really good point though, because there was some WPT tests landed the other day. So I reckon this one revamped. Yep, there it is. It's not merged yet. This one needs to be merged in. I don't know how I get them to merge it in other than beg. But this has the updated revamped scoped custom element registry tests, which will use custom element registry rather than custom elements. But I can't see how that gets updated. I thought it might here, but nope. All right, let's try to compile. Whilst we're there, we'll see what's going on. So this is the important stuff. Is we actually don't need this. We care about this IDL harness test, and we care about this scope custom element registry tentative IDL. This actually needs to be any dot tentative. Yeah. So these two can be added. This is just from a holdover from another branch. This, I don't know what's going on here. This does not seem to want to play ball, so I'm ignoring that. And then we got rid of the feature, which we are using, so we're going to see some compile errors. So if we look for revamped scoped, we'll have to change that in places. So here, this should be just scoped. Revamped scoped. Oh, all these IDLs need to drop this as well. There's probably a better way to do this than this. I thought you could do this, like select them all and open them all. It kind of works, but it's not the best. Cool. So I'm sure that will flub the compile, so we'll recompile, but yeah. What else did we have in the review notes? That's the wrong one. All changes. So, right. So we've kind of done this. We'll explore this more, but I want to just tick it off. We did this. We're going to get compile errors because of this, because I'm pretty sure the IDL is going to generate some bindings that need to change, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Please also link the polls in the commit message. Done. Generally looks good. Some structural questions. Nice to link to the ITP. We done. Can we add a D check here rather than an if? So if k import node options deep equals true. Yeah. I'm not sure. We can add a D check here because I'll just write this out. I'm not sure we can add a D check here because if the user specifies an empty object, then it'll hit the D check even with the flag disabled, I believe. Maybe I'll mark it as unresolved. So there's only one caller of this variant. This is no longer going to be true. Pascal says, I'm not sure I understand what dcheck is, but this might be one before refactor now. So dcheck is effectively an assert. It will actually crash the whatever is inside the dcheck should resolve to a boolean. If that boolean is false, it will crash the thread. Only if you have debug on. So D stands for debug. I think there is a check, which is the non-debug version, but effectively it's an assert. So if you hit that line and it resolves to false, like, so this is an if, right? But if I had dcheck, this is what Mason is asking for. Whoops, that was terrible. So I can do this. The problem is, as I understand it, is if you call import node with an empty object, even in like production or whatever, what it's going to do is it's going to hit this switch. It's going to see that it's an object. It's going to evaluate deep equals true, and then if debug's on, which the built version of Chrome that gets shipped doesn't enable, but like debug versions do, then this will crash because this will resolve to false unless you have experimental web platform features on, at which point this will pass and then it will check these things. But it means that this whole switch statement is now like true for production, right? So like in production, effectively this gets compiled out, and so we're actually going to read this, and so this will mean that so I might add this here. Even in builds with dcheck compiled out, it would still be possible to hit this branch, which means it would allow production code to use import node self only. Custom elements. Custom element registry, isn't it now? I think we still want to guard this with an if. I'm pretty confident this is answering this question though. Right, so we got some compile errors, so let's have a look. Let's go on and giant wall of text. Nothing discernible. Failed something because what? I'm sorry, what? Where is the error? What is the actual error? Distinguishing argument index. So it's an assertion error because did I flub the import node? Document IDL. Import node. Probably because it's optional. Maybe, or maybe it doesn't. It can't easily generate code that distinguishes between Boolean and import node options. was a very unclear error. I mean, it's looking a bit more successful. I don't know. Let's look at other feedback. So this was saying one caller. Perhaps you could just redirect to the next one. So this isn't going to hold true anymore because of this. We've got the same. Maybe it doesn't like that it's optional. Maybe that's part of the problem. Let's try that. Because it's optional here, whereas this one should be a supplied. Yeah. Clean out some of this. This goes along with the comment below, but I'd say just delete these plus anything that goes with the old API shape. So registry and set registry. I think set registry is still going to be useful. So we will I agree with registry. Okay. So there's one more comment which is it's weird. I don't know why that's highlighted in that way. Can you just add reflect to the IDL and get this for free? Or is this here because future CLs will need them? It's a good point. I think we can just ditch these. Because if I recall, the reflection rules, which I think shadow root custom Stream health good? YouTube's telling me stream health's not good. Seems fine. You don't know what you're talking about. All okay here. Yeah. YouTube doesn't know what it's talking about. I got green bars on OBS and looking at the video, it seems fine. Right. Shadowroot custom element registry. Content attribute is Boolean. So weird. That's such a weird. Must reflect. I don't think it matters. I think we can just do I'm trying to think if there's any reason that that would be weird in the code, and I don't think so. So I think Mason is right here in that we can just get rid of this. So let's do that. Oh yeah, we need to drop. We need to drop this union stuff as well. So we're going to get rid of this. So we don't have this V8 union anymore. Oh, it's going to be a real pain. So we don't need this. We don't need this because this is going to be import node options. So this needs to, we need a full declaration of import node options. I think. And then, oh, I guess there was the GNI file. No. There's a reference somewhere. So certainly in here, that can go. Yeah, here. These can go. This is just like a file listing of all the includes. So we aren't in magical JavaScript land where we can just import something and it pretends that it exists. Like we need these file listings to compile stuff. It's a bit of a pain. So V8 union Boolean or import options. This needs to change. This is going to be import options. This is going to be options. We don't really need a D check here. I guess we could just chuck one in for good measure because it is a pointer. I think it will be a pointer the way that the code generation works. This mostly is good except for this, and I need to double check the spec for import node, which is in the DOM spec, I guess. Import node. Let subtree be false, let registry be null. If options is a boolean, then set subtree. Otherwise, set subtree to the negation of options. What the? Set it to the negation. If custom element, set it to it. Let's change this to subtree then. So we got try and what's the best way to do this? That goes there. This goes here. What? Cool. Lost my place. So we're going to let subtree be false. We're going to let registry be null. We don't need this. If options is a boolean, well, we're in the overload, so it can't be a boolean. Set subtree to the negation of option self only. Oh, does that mean if self only is not present, subtree would be true? Because if it's not present, it would be false. And if we're looking at the negation, so this should be true, I think. Maybe we can cheat and look at WebKit. Subtree is false. I think this is correct. Yes, is false by default, which means if it's not present, it would be true, which means that we need to do it this way, which is weird, but whatever. Unless self only. Don't know why I tried to do that. Like we could always. Yeah, whatever. This is fine. So a lot of those compile errors were because of this undeclared bool or options, but that is not necessary. Like we just refactored that, so that's not a problem anymore. This is done. I think we've got all of the feedback. So Mason said there's only one caller for the variant of deep as a boolean, so we can just refactor it. This no longer holds true given David's above comment to have overloads in the IDL. I think we need to keep both for now. We can merge the overloads once shipped. Hello, hello. We got an undefined symbol. HTML template element. Oh, because I'm a dummy. Because in HTML template element, we never added reflect to this. So this needs reflect, which probably put this way around, just because of consistency. What are we? 15 minutes till the end of the hour. I think we could probably get this as a refinement on this patch. So if this compiles, we'll see where we are. Meanwhile, why don't we add stuff? So we're pretty confident about this change. Pretty confident about this change. Do you know what? I feel like because we were confused here, I want to refactor this and add a comment. Maybe this can go down here. The spec says... What does the spec say? One of these. Uh, 4. .1. However, another way to write this is overload no import node options to be an object, but self only may not be supplied. Let's set the column. I think it's 100. No, it's like 870 is the weird restrictive size for formatting. So due to overloads, we know import node options to be an object, but self only may not be supplied, in which case it's false. When not supplied, no, because we take the negation of self only, this means when it is not supplied, subtree will be true. So another way to write the spec could be let subtree be true I think this makes sense. And hey, we got a successful compile. Yeah, so it's a bit wonky. We're like deviating from the spec a bit. I don't think this would fly in Ladybird, which kind of tends to like do exactly what the spec says, but I think this is a worthwhile deviation because otherwise it just gets really awkward. Like this would have to be false. Like we'd have to write this as false, else, subtree true. And this just looks weird. Like why are we doing this? This to me is more confusing than this. Which is already pretty confusing because it's the negation, but whatever. Yeah. Maybe we'll just do a little. While we're at it, let's do a getCL format. Yeah. So this is good. Guess this is good. This is good. Yep. Yep. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool. That's actually quite interesting. It looks like there's some passes here. Cannot read properties null, reading custom elements. And we've got expected object gotten defined. Self only works, I guess. This is not good because this implies that there are failures. Timeout. This is interesting. What's this one? Well, let's do another ad. So no. Okay. Oh, because these are all. So why is this failing? what's going on here. Ran to completion. Great, good work. That's our one. So this one was timing out. What was this one doing? This one ran to completion too. I think this is because it's just dumping out the text, but this has a cleanup step, this command, so I'm probably looking at these too early. But we'll look at them in a minute when it's all done. I think it will remove the ones that just say ran to completion. Cool, clean up redundant baselines. Pascal says successful morning so far. I think so. I think we're inching closer. Maybe not the fastest way to build this, but it's but we're getting there. We're going to need to look into this a little more. I have a feeling what we really want to do is add objects to exercise this functionality. Yeah, because it's... also, I'm being dumb, because it wouldn't be any. Because, of course, custom elements are not available in workers. So we need to rename this from any to window, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's try and just run this one then. So idle harness window. Hello. What's this? What are you telling me? I have no idea what this is trying to say. Couldn't find terminal? You just worked. If I do this, it works. It doesn't work anymore. For some reason, it's completely changed. Wait, this was the command I just ran. Cool. This is just completely flopped over now for some reason. Failed to set up term. Kind alacrity. Which this is not. This is ghosty. Couldn't find terminal. Okay. to work now. Still doesn't work. Can't find term again. I have no idea what I've just done to cause this to crash. Couldn't find terminal. I'm so confused. Why did it just passed and now it's not anymore? Restart my terminal. Nope. I think this is the programming gods telling me that it is 9:59 and I should go and do real work. So let's wrap this up. We'll just yeet this. We'll yeet this and this. We don't want the expecteds. They can all go. Nope, not that one. This one. Address feedback. Oops. Address feedback is the right spelling. Yeah, cool. I'll push this up. I'll give it a dry run. We'll see what happens. But I think we're in a pretty good state. And I'll continue iterating on this another time. As for now, I have to go attend my day job, which is writing React instead of writing C++. So I need to get out of this mind and go use effect. All right. Thank you for watching. If you have been, I'll